And welcome to the Columbus Day special right here at ABC-7 New York. And happy Columbus Day to all of you. Now, unfortunately, because of the wet weather today and the state of emergency that was declared in New York, the parade has been canceled. But of course, we're still going to have a great celebration on this Columbus Day. So we welcome you inside, and a good afternoon to all of you. Happy Columbus Day once again, and a warm welcome to everybody watching us here on Channel 7 in New York and across the country at abc7ny.com. I'm Mike Marza, along with the wonderful Sandra Bookman, and we're always honored to be joined by distinguished actor, comedian, podcaster, and our good friend Joe Piscopo. Good to see you.
Exactly. No parade today, but we still have a great show planned to celebrate Italian-American heritage and culture. And who better to tell us more about this day than this guy?
I'll tell you, so proud to be from the Columbus Citizens Foundation. This is the core of the Italian-American community in New York, and we ain't letting Columbus Day go by without this celebration right here, right now.
Absolutely. Among the highlights for you coming up today, the Grand Marshal of this year's parade, former chairman of TD Ameritrade, and of course, college football coach Joe Moglia, as well as this year's 3 distinguished honorees who have made remarkable, lifelong contributions to the Italian-American community.
Now, this year marks the 550th anniversary of Michelangelo's birth. We're going to learn all about how the Italian master's influence is felt in New York even today. The remarkable 104-year-old World War II veteran and Italian-American Dominic Critelli. And Joe is going to have a sneak peek at the Italian-American Museum of New York, which is set to open on Mulberry Street in the spring of 2026.
And sadly, in May, we lost Alfred M. Catalanato, the former Columbus Citizens Foundation secretary and parade chairman, to cancer. So this year's special celebration is dedicated to his memory.
And to hear people talk about him and how much he really loved today, so his void certainly being felt today. But we have a lot of exciting stories to talk about, including the honorees. Today's first honoree, a husband and wife team who've been making it big in the supermarket business, but they really have been generations of benefactors of several important charitable causes. And they are the 2025 Columbus Celebration honorees, John and Margot Catsimatidis.
Yeah.
Okay. I was born on an island that was part of Italy. My father worked for the Italian government watching a lighthouse. And after 17 years, my father lost his job. He was an Italian citizen at that time.
Born on the Greek island of Niceros, John Catsimatidis' parents immigrated to New York City when he was just 6 months old. On the other side of the world, Margot von der Sar was chasing her own dreams. At just 12, she became the youngest dancer ever invited to perform with the prestigious Bolshoi Ballet.
It's my first professional job, and I knew ballet would be my way to get out of Indiana.
She waited until 16 to make her move.
I came to New York with $100 in my pocket and felt like I came home.
Her career was promising until a dance-related injury ended it early. But that twist of fate would change her life.
There was this guy starting out in the supermarket business, never had a secretary, never had an assistant, and I went for the job.
John and Margot transformed Red Apple Group into a diversified corporation.
We took that supermarket company called Red Apple, and we ended up buying Gristedes, Sloan's, all these other companies.
The Columbus Citizens Foundation is proud to honor John and Margot, celebrating their roots, their unity, and their contributions.
We love the organization. They're true American patriots that believe in their heritage.
I used to tell all my Italian friends, una faccia, una razza, one face, one people. I always believed we all work together to have a better country.
Congratulations to you both. Such an honor to have you here and for us to take a look back at how you got to this point and honestly honor everything that you're about. And John, you know, when we were talking about the Greek and the Italian roots and thinking about today and what your ancestors would think about you being honored today at this Columbus Day.
The Greeks and Italians are always together. Una faccia, una razza. What happened years ago, 400 years ago, when Greeks went into slavery by the Ottoman Empire, the Greeks from Greece moved over to Italy. And that's why 50% of Sicily is Greek. And Napoli, in Napoli, in Greek it says new city, Nea poorly. And we're so proud that also today that this week that President Trump has declared it Columbus Day again. I have nothing against indigenous people, but we should add and celebrate all people, not just eliminate people. And I believe that, you know, especially in New York City, we have 185 languages being spoken. I'm proud to be 28% Italian. I'm proud. Margot is proud to be Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. So we're one big melting pot. And don't forget, my son married a Sicilian girl. So what do we have now? Yeah, John III is part Sicilian, part Greek, part Italian, part Russian, Polish, Ukrainian.
So everybody's a little Italian today.
It's a melting pot.
Jonah, Margot, I want to ask you, the Columbus Citizens Foundation, look, today, they really make today possible. What is it that you admire about the work that the organization does?
They do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They help so many young people. They promote scholarships. They give education, a learning process that you keep your heritage, but you love America. And that's what I love about all nationalities of people that come over, whether it's Greek or Italian or any, because they love America and it's education and remembering your roots.
I was part of Ellis Island. Me and Bill Fugazi and Lee Iacocca ran Ellis Island for many years. Immigration, yes. Invasion, no. And what we want is people that come to America and they want to work like my father did, like his father did, 80 hours a week and make a success of yourself. And that's what we want. We want people that come to get their green cards that want to have success and work hard.
And Margot and John, you give back so much. That the annual party that we had, the holiday party that we had, was off the charts. Tell us about
the Police Athletic League.
Beautiful.
You know, I followed Mr. Bob Morgenthau, who was chairman like 50 years, and when he passed away, 99 and 9 months old, I'm now chairman of the Police Athletic League, and we help the kids of the inner city. You know, it's the black and brown kids in our cities that suffer the most. And, you know, I stay there with Ray Kelly sometimes in one of the Harlem Center on 119th Street, and there's 100 kids in that corner. And I say, how many of those 100 kids can we save? I want to save all 100. But that's where we all work together. To have the greatest city in the world, and we love New York, and hope New York keeps going the way we love.
Bravo, bravo.
Wow. And you both have been an important part of all that work. That's why you are here being honored today.
Yeah. Congratulations to you both. Thank you. Well, we may not have an official parade today, but still plenty of celebrating and more stories ahead. Much more on this Columbus Day special right here at ABC 7. So watch in the comfort of your own home, or maybe you're at the office, as we continue to celebrate Columbus Day right here on ABC. And welcome to the Columbus Day special right here at ABC 7 New York. And happy Columbus Day to all of you. Now, unfortunately, because of the wet weather today and the state of emergency that was declared in New York, the parade has been canceled. But of course, we're still going to have a great celebration on this Columbus Day. So we welcome you inside, and a good afternoon to all of you. Happy Columbus Day once again, and a warm welcome to everybody watching us here on Channel 7 in New York and across the country at abc7ny.com. I'm Mike Marza, along with the wonderful Sandra Bookman. And we're always honored to be joined by distinguished actor, comedian, podcaster, and our good friend Joe Piscopo. Good to see you.
Exactly. No parade today, but we still have a great show planned to celebrate Italian-American heritage and culture. And who better to tell us more about this day than this guy?
I'll tell you, so proud to be from the Columbus Citizens Foundation. This is the core of the Italian-American community in New York, and we ain't letting Columbus Day go by without this celebration right here, right now.
Absolutely. Among the highlights for you coming up today, the Grand Marshal of this year's parade, former chairman of TD Ameritrade, and of course college football coach Joe Moglia, as well as this year's 3 distinguished honorees who have made remarkable lifelong contributions to the Italian-American community.
Now, this year marks the 550th anniversary of Michelangelo's birth. We're going to learn all about how the Italian master's influence is felt in New York even today. The remarkable 100 104-year-old World War II veteran and Italian-American Dominic Critelli. And Joe is going to have a sneak peek at the Italian-American Museum of New York, which is set to open on Mulberry Street in the spring of 2026.
And sadly, in May, we lost Alfred M. Catalanato, the former Columbus Citizens Foundation secretary and parade chairman, to cancer. So this year's special celebration is dedicated to his memory.
And to hear people talk about him and how much he really loved today, so his void certainly being felt today. But we have a lot of exciting stories to talk about, including the honorees. Today's first honoree, a husband and wife team who've been making it big in the supermarket business, but they really have been generations of benefactors of several important charitable causes. And they are the 2025 Columbus Celebration honorees, John and Margot Catsimatidis.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was born on an island that was part of Italy. My father worked for the Italian government watching a lighthouse. And after 17 years, my father lost his job. He was an Italian citizen at that time.
Born on the Greek island of Niceros, John Catsimatidis' parents immigrated to New York City when he was just 6 months old. On the other side of the world, Margot van der Sar was chasing her own dreams. At just 12, she became the youngest dancer ever invited to perform with the prestigious Bolshoi Ballet.
It's my first professional job, and I knew ballet would be my way to get out of Indiana.
She waited until 16 to make her move.
I came to New York with $100 in my pocket and felt like I came home.
Her career was promising until a dance-related injury ended it early. But that twist of fate would change her life.
There was this guy starting out in the supermarket business, never had a secretary, never had an assistant, and I went for the job.
John and Margot transformed Red Apple Group into a diversified corporation.
We took that supermarket company called Red Apple, and we ended up buying Festivities, Sloan's, all these other companies.
The Columbus Citizens Foundation is proud to honor John and Margot, celebrating their roots, their unity, and their contributions.
We love the organization. They're true American patriots that believe in their heritage.
I used to tell all my Italian friends, una faccia, una razza, one face, one people. I always believed we all work together to have a better country.
Congratulations to you both. Such an honor to have you here and for us to take a look back at how you got to this point and honestly honor everything that you're about. And John, you know, when we were talking about the Greek and the Italian roots and thinking about today and what your ancestors would think about you being honored today at this Columbus Day.
The Greeks and Italians are always together. Una faccia, una razza. What happened years ago, 400 years ago, when Greeks went into slavery by the Ottoman Empire, the Greeks from Greece moved over to Italy. And that's why 50% of Sicily is Greek. And Napoli, in Greek it says new city, Napoli. And we're so proud that also today that this week that President Trump has declared it Columbus Day again. I have nothing against indigenous people, but we should add and celebrate all people, not just eliminate people. And I believe that, you know, especially in New York City, we have 185 languages being spoken. I'm proud to be 28% Italian. I'm proud. Margot is proud to be Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. So we're one big melting pot. And don't forget, my son married a Sicilian girl. So what do we have now? We have John III is part Sicilian, part Greek, part Italian, part Russian, Polish, Ukrainian.
So everybody's a little Italian today.
It's a melting
pot. Jonah, Margot, I want to ask you, the Columbus Citizens Foundation, look, today, they really make today possible. What is it that you admire about the work that the organization does?
They do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They help so many young people. They promote scholarships. They give education, a learning process that you keep your heritage, but you love America. And that's what I love about all nationalities of people that come over, whether it's Greek or Italian or any, because they love America and it's education and remembering your roots.
I was part of Ellis Island. Me and Bill Fugazi and Lee Iacocca ran Ellis Island for many years. Immigration, yes. Invasion, no. And what we want is people that come to America and they want to work like my father did, like his father did, 80 hours a week and make a success of yourself. And that's what we want. We want people that come to get their green cards that want to have success and work hard.
And Margot and John, you give back so much. That the annual party that we had, the holiday party that we had, was off the charts. Tell us about
the Police Athletic League.
Beautiful.
You know, I followed Mr. Bob Morgenthau, who was chairman like 50 years, and when he passed away, 99 and 9 months old, I'm now chairman of the Police Athletic League, and we help the kids of the inner city. You know, it's the black and brown kids in our cities that suffer the most. And, you know, I stay there with Ray Kelly sometimes in one of the Harlem Center on 119th Street, and there's 100 kids in that corner. And I say, how many of those 100 kids can we save? I want to save all 100. But that's where we all work together to have the greatest city in the world, and we love New York and hope New York keeps going the way we love.
Bravo, bravo.
And you both have been an important part of all that work. That's why you are here being honored today.
Yeah. Congratulations to you both. Well, we may not have an official parade today, but still plenty of celebrating and more stories ahead. Much more on this Columbus Day special right here at ABC 7. So watch in the comfort of your own home, or maybe you're at the office, as we continue to celebrate Columbus Day right here on ABC.
Since 1984, the Columbus Citizens Foundation has awarded over $43 million in scholarships to students of Italian heritage who show success in their studies and involvement in their communities. Today, we are catching up with two incredible young women who were once scholarship recipients themselves. Joining me are Dr. Gabriella Scala, now a board-certified clinical pharmacist, and Diana Picarella, a product specialist in the electrical industry. First to you, Gabriella, how do you attribute your path into the healthcare field to your Italian heritage?
My father immigrated to the United States from Italy as a teenager. I saw how tirelessly my father worked, washing dishes in an Italian specialty store, to finally being able to save up enough money to buy that store himself. And I think that's what really pushed me to work hard, and choosing a career in healthcare really felt like a way to honor that legacy of hard work and to serve others just as my family did.
Diana, what kind of impact did receiving the scholarship have on your journey?
After becoming a scholarship recipient back in 2017, I knew I wanted to find more ways to get involved with the foundation. Being in a position now where I'm able to give back to the community, pay it forward, and make a positive difference in other students' lives is such a rewarding feeling.
As a scholarship recipient, I was supported when I needed it the most. And now, as the vice chair of the Young Adults Auxiliary, I have the opportunity to give back.
It's about building on that foundation and creating opportunities for the next generation and making sure the impact of this community continues to grow.
Thank you both, Gabriella and Diana, so much for joining us and for sharing your stories with us. We, of course, will be cheering you on. Now, if you want to learn more about the Columbus Citizens Foundation Scholarship Program or to make a donation, you can visit columbuscitizens.org. Two very impressive young women, and it was my pleasure and privilege to have a chance to speak with these young women as they pursue their own rigorous careers while also being motivated to give back to the community around them. So inspiring. This is exactly what the scholarship program is about, right?
A great piece, Sandra. The whole foundation of the Columbus Citizens Foundation is that, scholarships, helping out the future Italian Americans, which make a great American community-minded citizens in the future. It's just spectacular. That's why we're here. And they raised like $40+ million already. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Future is certainly bright, no doubt about that. So inspiring. All right, time now to meet our next 2025 honoree. He's an accomplished and world-renowned surgeon who pioneered a new technique that has improved the lives of thousands and thousands of patients. And now a 2025 Columbus Celebration honoree, Dr. Fabrizio Michelassi.
For Fabrizio Michelassi, generations of physicians shaped his upbringing.
My grandfather was a general practitioner. His son was a radiologist. On my father's side, his brother was a radiologist.
He grew up in Pisa. Once at the University of Pisa Medical School, he wasted no time getting hands-on experience.
I knew the surgery was going to be my passion and my life.
After 2 years of residency in Italy, he left for the United States, starting over from scratch at NYU.
After I graduated from NYU, I was able to obtain my first academic job at the University of Chicago. I cultivated a clinical practice. I really became an expert in dealing with Crohn's disease.
He pioneered a procedure now known as the Michelassi strictureplasty, a game changer for Crohn's patients. Today, Dr. Michelassi is an internationally renowned gastrointestinal surgeon, researcher, and teacher.
I'm the Louis Adbury Stimson Professor of Surgery and Chairman of the Department of Surgery at Weill Cornell Medical School, and I'm also the Surgeon-in-Chief for the New York Presbyterian Hospital at the Weill Cornell Medical Center. I'm really humbled to have been selected as an honoree by the Columbus Citizen Foundation. It is the accomplishment of me and my wife. We met when we were both residents, and we just celebrated our 43rd anniversary. There's no question that my wife has been my closest consigliere.
Dr. Michelassi, thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon, and so lovely that you credited your wife. I'm sure she appreciates that, correct? She knows.
I'm sure she does.
Yeah, you can come home this evening. I want to, you know, it's interesting that you went to school in Italy, medical school, you finished, but then when you came to the States, you had to do it all over again. How was that?
It wasn't easy. First of all, although I had learned English, as best as I could during my years in school, and every summer I would go to England for a month to refine my English. When I came here, it was difficult. Difficult to understand, difficult to express yourself, especially when you're meeting patients.
Yeah.
And as you know, I trained at NYU. Part of our rotations are at Bellevue Hospital, and understand patients of different nationalities, different backgrounds. That was not that easy, but I was fortunate. I was fortunate because medical school in Italy gave me really the right foundations, and being able to examine patients even without speaking the same language, and having the empathy necessary to understand their pain, their difficulties, their crisis, really made it almost natural, almost a speaking without a language.
Yeah.
Doctor, what would you say you're most proud of in your medicine career?
In my medicine career, I think, see, medicine is a calling. Medicine is not a job. And you go in medicine to help people. You go in medicine to help patients. And as a surgeon, you really meet patients in their most critical time, where in most need. And so the ability to help so many is really what I'm most proud of. Obviously, yes, it's true, as you mentioned, you know, I've devised a technique that has helped many patients with Crohn's disease, but being a gastrointestinal surgeon specialist, I've been able to operate on patients with tumors, with cancers, with different inflammatory bowel diseases, and so forth. The other thing that probably I'm proud of, having taught a lot of medical students, a lot of residents, the art of medicine, the art of surgery, and becoming the next surgeon. And that is extremely very important.
What a legacy.
Do you go to Italy often? Do you go back and forth?
We try to go once a year at least. And obviously going back to Italy is going back home. Home is here and home is there. It's a very strange feeling if you think about what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned your wife is from Boston, and her first night was in Capri, right?
Yes, it was in Capri, exactly. I remember that I organized our first trip to Italy, and I went 2 or 3 days ahead. I met her at Fiumicino when she arrived. I had my father's car, a beautiful Alfa Romeo. And we drove to Naples. We took the Aliscafo to Capri. So the first night she ever spent in Italy was in Anacapri. I still remember the sunset. It was magnificent.
Well, I think everything worked out, certainly. And congratulations on all of that. You know, the Columbus Citizens Foundation celebrates all these values that we've been talking about, hard work, education, family, the contribution, and the well-being of others. What does it mean for you as somebody who's accomplished so much, particularly in medicine and even in your personal life, but to be honored for your roots by this foundation today?
It means a lot. This is a great honor to be recognized and honored by the Italian community and the Italian-American community here in New York, where I trained initially for 5 years, a long time ago, then came back 22 years ago as chair of the Department of Surgery at New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell. And so it means a lot. But what really means to me is the two missions that the Columbus Citizen Foundation stands for. One is obviously the traditions, the Italian traditions. They're so dear to me. And so for me, this is very important. And the other one is education, helping educating the most deserving and less fortunate among us. Yeah. So I think that those are two themes that really resonate with me.
A well-deserved honor. Congratulations, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You know, 2025, it is a milestone year for Michelangelo. It's the 550th anniversary of the birth of the remarkable Italian sculptor, painter, architect, and poet of the High Renaissance. And as we have learned from those who study him, the Italian Renaissance master's impact is still visible and felt here in New York City today, more than half a millennium after his birth.
Michelangelo was born March 6, 1475. It's the 550th anniversary of his birth.
Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about Michelangelo in the modern world and his relevance. There's a value to doing a kind of in-depth study of a single artist, this guy who lived for 88 years.
It was not only a sculptor or a painter, it really redefined the idea of being an artist.
What sculpture is this? David. Everybody knows the David. The David in Florence, Sistine Chapel ceiling paintings are things which are part of the lingua franca of contemporary culture. They're instantly recognizable.
I would say he was an influencer of his time.
His work has had an impact on all of our environs, whether it's sculpture, architecture, or town planning, urban design.
In front of the New York Public Library, there are two lions, Patience and Fortitude, who are heavily influenced by Michelangelo. In Bryant Park Plaza, there are two sculptures made by Antonio Pio Saracino called The Guardians. The hero is deliberately a reference to the David, and he's the guardian of New York City, as much as the David was the guardian and the protector of Florence.
If you go to Columbus Circle, those figures and the figure of Columbus, these are all sort of indebted to Michelangelo. I think if Michelangelo was alive today, he would be programming the Sphere in Las Vegas. He would have a 5-picture Netflix deal, right? He would have his hand in everything. He would have thrived in our environment.
Because he really was able to represent art not as a luxury, but as a necessity for the human spirit. That's why we're still talking about him 550 years later.
He was a genius. You know quite a bit about Michelangelo. All your travels to Italy, you got a favorite piece?
La Pieta, because he was 23 years old when he sculpted that at 23, finished at 24. And, you know, when he was in his 70s, he came back to St. Peter's. The Pope called him back to design what we know as St. Peter's Basilica. How about that?
Just incredible. I was just there back in the spring for the funeral of Pope Francis. And what is remarkable is to see people who come from around the world and see his work for the first time in person. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Michelangelo.
Buon Capoleone.
And lots of love for Italian heritage and culture. Our indoor celebration continues. This is the NYC Columbus Day celebration. Stay with us here on ABC7. Welcome back to our 2025 Columbus Day celebration here on ABC7 in New York and on our wonderful ABC affiliate in Allentown, Pennsylvania, WFMZ. Sandra Bookman here alongside Mike Marza and, of course, the incomparable Joe Piscopo. It was September 9th, 1943, when U.S. forces landed along the Amalfi Coast at the start of the Italian campaign of World War II, also called the Liberation of Italy. And that campaign led to the 150,000 American casualties. There are less than 0.5% of World War II veterans still alive. And we had the honor of hearing from one of those remarkable men.
My name is Dominic Critelli, and I'm 104. I originally was born in Italy, in Calabria, and I came to this country when I was 8 years old. My sister and my mother, that's me. I was so happy to come to America. And then I got to the age where the president said he needed me. I was 22 years old. I went through 15 weeks of training, and then we landed at Utah. I'll never forget that the scenery. The water was this high. After a while, the tanks made a road. And then we went into the Battle of the Bulge.
We had the beauty of being able to be in Normandy together, where he was given the Légion d'honneur from President Macron.
Monsieur Dominic Critelli.
The highest honor you can get, civilian or military. He got it for the merits and the Air Medal and liberating France and all that he had done.
I cried a lot. To see the gratitude of the European people that we met, we had 5-year-olds coming up to him and saying, "Thank you for our freedom."
I had buddies that never come out. See, I gained 80 years. Those boys gained nothing. They say, "Oh, you're a hero." I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero. They're the heroes.
Dominic is an incredible inspiration. Coming here in 1929, didn't know any English, fought for this country, helped this country be built. It's not only about Dominic Critelli, it's about everybody of the greatest generation, especially the Italian Americans, one of the largest ethnic groups who fought in World War II at the time.
It is so moving to hear him appreciate the 80 years of life he got that his fallen brothers did not.
Exactly, the greatest generation. While Mr. Critelli landed at Utah Beach in Normandy, it's worth noting that just last week, the U.S. Senate established the National World War II Italian Campaign Remembrance Day, honoring the nearly 1 million Americans who served in the struggle to liberate Italy from German occupation. So glad that this Italian campaign is being officially memorialized.
We should listen to them and listen to all the knowledge that they bring us. Well, we now want to welcome in Christopher Licano, the president of the Columbus Citizens Foundation. Chris, little tweaks, little turns, little audibles this year with the state of emergency with this nor'easter. We're inside, but I think it also brings us a greater focus on what this is all about, right? Which is the great work you do here. Take us through some of the highlights and really the focus that has been the CCF.
Yeah, so our organization is built around two things: celebrating Italian culture and offering scholarships to underprivileged kids, and something that we're really proud of. I've talked about it in the past with you guys, so welcome back, by the way. Great to have you here. And our honorees and the parade and the Grand Marshal help us drive the resources to provide that program. And you look at who they are: Joe Moglia, you just met Dr. Michelassi, Consul General, John and Margot Catsimatidis. These people they've dedicated their lives to philanthropy. And thank God for us, they've chosen the Columbus Citizen Foundation as a worthy charity. And I know you spoke earlier today about two of our scholarship recipients. I want to add a third, if you don't mind. And so it really exemplifies something that's really cool. A woman named Jenna, I won't give you her last name because she has a cool job, and she's a 2-time scholarship recipient, high school and college, and her dad stayed in touch with me over the years and sent me her grades and her pictures and all of that throughout the years. Really lovely guy. And she went on to law school, and last year was sworn in as a New York City Assistant District Attorney.
Oh, wow.
So we love celebrating that, our scholarship recipient success. One, it makes sense to put them front and center, and makes us so proud. And it's just more than just the scholarship, it's also about the mentorship that our members provided to these kids. And it doesn't get any better than that. So we love it. And then, of course, Italian culture is icing on the cake, if you will.
Yeah, we've talked a lot so far about some of today's honorees. You're going to meet some more later. Talk to me about what all of these folks have in common, that they're, whether you made them the Grand Marshal or you're honoring them, what is that thread that runs through all of them?
Yeah, I'll swing at that softball. That thread is a family tightness, family bond, hard work. I joked earlier with Joe today that in my house, when things got tough, my father said, I think I need another job. And so that's always been the answer for the Italian people is hard work, family, and faith. And you look at our lineup of grand marshals over the years and honorees, it always comes back to hard work. Yeah. And you cannot teach hunger. There's no way of teaching hunger. There were no trust fund babies in that group. So that's who we are.
You've been here a long time, man. You were a baby when I was, doing the parade with Maria, right?
I had brown hair this weekend.
But I think I know the answer to this, Mr. President. But your proudest achievement, please, here at the foundation.
To me, it's building the team. I sit on the shoulders of an amazing team. You can tell how dedicated they are. I mean, last night at 5 o'clock, after the governor issued her state of emergency proclamation, we went into throwing an audible, as you said. Right. And so it's no joke. Putting on a parade in New York City is a massive undertaking. 6 months of planning and 5 hours to undo it. And so we can't do that without a great team. And so both in my professional life and here, it's all about building a team. So can't get away from it.
Incredible work, and we're still able to share all the great stories and the people who make up the CCF. And Columbus Day, obviously a time for celebration, but it gives us the time to acknowledge and remember a lot of the people who we've lost in the Italian community over the past year. And I know it's something that we've been talking about today as well, and their legacy looms large here.
Yep. Yeah, we lost Alfred Catalano earlier this year, put on the parade for 13 or 14 years, dedicated. He was a machine. Saturday night we did a fundraise to name a scholarship after Alfred. And so that's going to live on for decades to come. And those kids, when they get those scholarships, hopefully they're really successful and come back and become part of the foundation as well.
That's great. Well, Chris, it was great to see you. Thanks for allowing us to be part of all of this. It is a huge honor for us, and so we appreciate it.
Thanks for being flexible, and you guys are part of the family, so thank you so much.
Yeah, and at this point, we've mentioned them, but we want to acknowledge those folks we've lost over the last year that are members of the Italian-American community.
Strolled the lane together, laughed at the rain together, sang love's refrain together, and we'd both pretend it would never end. You're gone from me, but in my memory, darling, wherever you are, we'll always be together.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Picarella. I am the chair of the Young Adults Auxiliary here at the Columbus Citizens Foundation. And over this past weekend, we've had a bunch of incredible events, starting with the Grand Marshal and Honoree Dinner here at the Foundation. On Saturday, we had our 81st Gala at Cipriani Wall Street.
We're honored to have a special endorsement from President Trump.
This weekend, our nation honors the legendary Christopher Columbus, one of the most gallant and visionary men to ever walk the face of the earth.
On Sunday morning, we had a beautiful wreath-laying ceremony at Columbus Circle, honoring groups of the Columbia Association, the FDNY, NYPD, and SDNY. It was such a lovely weekend celebrating our Italian heritage, all leading up to the parade today. Happy Columbus Day.
And the celebration continues alongside Sandra and Joe here inside the Columbus Citizens Foundation headquarters in Manhattan.
Yep, we are here with some very special guests, Michael Sapercone and Aldo Varelli, co-chairs of the Columbus Day Parade. Michael is a retired NYPD detective who served for 2 decades. He then founded Squad Security, a global private security firm that employs about 600 current and retired law enforcement personnel. And then Aldo Varelli is the chairman of the Columbus Citizens Foundation College Scholarship Program. He also started a scholarship fund in his hometown of Ripi, Italy, to help middle school students learn English and to visit the United States for cultural exchange. And thank you both for being here today. I know there is nowhere else you would rather be except maybe walking along the parade route.
Well, it's just different to be sitting here. We usually are outside with you guys, and we're doing a little something on the side of the booth every year, Aldo and I. And I guess we're doing it for about 7, 8 years together.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let me ask you both.
18, about 8 years.
And it's incredible how the time goes by. But, you know, the foundation and everything we've been talking about this morning, faith, family, hard work, how has your Italian roots propelled you in both of your lives?
Aldo, you tell your story because you told a great story earlier. And
well, I was born in Italy, so I came here when I was 14, and we came with nothing, and we blessed this country, which is, to me, the greatest country in the world because it gives everybody opportunity, no matter where you come from. People from all over the world want to come here because they know America is the greatest, and I can never repay this country for what it did for me and my family. It's an incredible, incredible story, which I really thank God that my father came and brought us here, and we are what we are today because of his coming here.
And di dove sei d'Italia?
So, Frosinone, Lazio, vicino Roma.
Ah, bella, bella.
Bellissimo.
It's very nice.
I feel like the only American kid here. I'm born in Richmond Hill, Queens, and but my parents taught me that hard work pays off, and if you work hard, you'll accomplish something. And you know, you may fail at things, and in business you fail at times, but that gives you the incentive to keep working harder and harder. I have 5 children and 5 grandchildren, and I try to explain to them, always strive for your best. We can't just be mediocre. We're Italians, okay? We need to excel. We need to do the best we can. Yeah. And we speak about this all the time, Joe. It's so important, our heritage, and what it means to us. And
you are a warrior, though, man. You plan a year. Like when are you going to start next year's parade?
We started 20 minutes ago. We were just getting ready.
You guys worked so hard, and I know my buddies from the Fast Tech and all the trucks were going. Everybody, they painted their trucks. They made it all the chrome, all shiny and everything. But you know what? When we were on the radio this morning, you said we're turning it around. We're going to improvise, and that's the great Italian-American spirit, man. Onward and forward.
Well, we're looking for Columbus 2.0 next year.
Yeah,
we're ready. We're ready. You know, a lot of people disappointed about today, and that we feel sad about that. You had over 95 floats and marching bands, and all the people who worked on it and worked together. And so we were sad last night, as Chris said earlier.
Yeah.
You know, we got together at 5, 6 o'clock trying to decide what to do. But I think we made the right choice for everybody, and we look forward to just getting a better parade out.
Great job, guys.
Next year.
Great job.
We missed the Maseratis. That's convertible. Everybody comes up with the Maseratis. That's we're going to bring a Bentley and a Rolls, but we didn't get a chance to.
You got next year, just as you're working. We'll have to work on the weather for next year too.
Thank you,
gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you
Always
so
an
much
honor.
for having me.
Always an honor. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And we want to thank ABC for being part of our family doing this.
With us for
It's a big deal to us.
It is our pleasure. We look forward to it every year.
Thank you both. Still to come, we're going to meet this year's Columbus Celebration Grand Marshal, plus a sneak peek at a cool new museum right after this.
Welcome back to a very special Columbus Day celebration. Now, before we get to this year's Grand Marshal, we're going to take a look at some of our remarkable Grand Marshals over the years.
I mean, this list is incredible, right? When you just think about it, and I mean, Joe, look.
Danny Aiello, I miss Danny every day. Joe D, greatest ball player of all time, excuse me. Tommy Lasorda, I know, look, how old am I? I know every single one of you. I've been in the parade this long. Paul Servino are the best, the absolute best. Damn, look at these, this
Quite the illustrious list of Grand Marshals.
Look at this, look at this.
What an honor.
Mario.
That year, the parade was over in like 5 minutes. Mario enjoyed it so fast.
Very funny. Very funny.
So that brings us to 2025, and Joe Moglia's remarkable journey embodies the American dream, really. From leaving coaching after 16 years to becoming the CEO of TD Ameritrade, where he increased the net worth of his clients by more than 3,000%. Not bad numbers, right? Then returning to his first love of football at the age of 62.
Yeah, his unparalleled success and dedication to excellence makes him a proud example of Italian-American achievement and an inspiring choice as this year's Grand Marshal. For Joe Moglia, success was hard-fought. It was built on a philosophy he developed as a coach that would guide the rest of his life.
Be a man became BAM. A real man, a real woman, a real leader stands on their own 2 feet, takes responsibility for themselves. They treat others with dignity and respect, and they're going to live with the consequence of their actions. My dad was born and raised in northern Italy, Pessoa. My mom was born and raised in Belfast, Ireland. I was the oldest of 5.
It was tough to support his family on a coach's salary, so Joe reinvented himself, making a bold leap to Wall Street. At the height of his career, he left to rescue a struggling company on the verge of collapse.
Ameritrade was going out of business. We have a 500% return. We outperformed every financial firm in the globe then.
Now, Joe manages more roles than ever, but he still carved out time to fulfill one deeply personal ambition.
I wanted my entire family to be able to see where their heritage was.
It was a love story born during World War II when his father was stationed in Belfast. His mother came to America to marry him. That inspired Joe to bring his family on a journey from Belfast to Pessoa.
When I found out that my grandfather couldn't read or write, that was profound to me. We were one generation away from poverty and illiteracy.
Now he's being celebrated by the Columbus Citizens Foundation at this year's Columbus Day Parade.
I'm overwhelmed with what it means for me to be Grand Marshal, and I couldn't be more grateful. It's certainly one of the greatest honors I've ever had in my life.
Welcome and a huge congratulations, Joe. So great to see you here.
Thank you, folks. And again, it's a big honor for me to be on. Thanks for having me.
You know, we were all talking about your stories, just really remarkable. I would love to break down the spread offense and talk about football, but I know we don't we don't have a lot of time. But I want to talk about
every male in the country knows football better than every coach does. I kind of live all the time, people criticizing my calls.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And you know, you were able to marry all these passions together. But I think back, Columbus Day brings back so many great memories for all of us. When you got the call to join this incredible list here, being a Grand Marshal, what went through your mind?
At first, I was incredibly honored. I think I had an immediate flashback to the contribution that Italian heritage has made to our country, but more than that, you think about the typical family over the last couple of centuries that came here dead broke, couldn't speak English, and I think focused on family, faith, persistence, dedication, hard work. We're actually able to live the American dream. That's one piece. My father was born in Italy. He came over here. He came over when he was 11, never finished second grade, couldn't speak English when he came over. Met my mom after World War II. She was born and raised in Ireland. She came over here to marry him. My grandfather, my mom's dad, couldn't read or write, said his name with an X. So for me, our entire family was literally a generation away from poverty and illiteracy. So I couldn't be more grateful for what our country has provided us, again, through dedication and hard work and going after it.
I want to ask you, Ireland to Italy, obviously a great combination. What was it like when you took your kids, your grandkids, you got to take them to Ireland and to Italy? How did they respond to that?
Well, I mentioned a second ago, right, just how grateful I felt just because of the heritage. And 15 years, I've never really had anything on a bucket list other than I wanted my family to see where their grandmother or my mom or my dad, their grandfather grew up. So we kept putting that off, and then we did it last year. So 28 of us got off a plane in Dublin. We visited Belfast, where Mom grew up. We spent there 4 days there, spent a day in Milan, then spent 3 or 4 days in northern Italy, in Pessoa. Then we spent the last 3 or 4 days, everybody kind of took a break in Lake Como. But what I wanted more than anything was them to sense a real overwhelming feeling of gratitude for where we are.
Hey, Coach, Wall Street and then a leading football coach. How do you draw the two parallels there, sir?
Well, you know what? The product obviously is different, Joe, but the leadership principles are the exact same thing. How to put together an organization. Leadership is about your people. All of those things literally wind up coming together. So I've been able to pick 2 career paths, each of which I knew I had the skill sets for, each of which I've been passionate about. But the one thing I had in common that allowed me to cross both was the leadership principles.
And taking those themes and seeing, you know, where we are today in society, and you know, you talk about family. We all celebrate family, and I think that's what today is largely about. What Italian-American traits or values have you used to propel yourself in all these different industries that you've been able to excel at?
Well, I think, for example, my father, I think Dad, I think without question I get my work ethic and my desire to be the best I can be from my dad. I think I get my personality and my sense of humor from my mother. But when Italians came over, again, they had nothing, right? So think about what they needed to emphasize. They had to take care of their family, right? Most of them had a very, very strong faith. Think about the work ethic and the dedication and their ability to be able to really give it the very, very best they possibly can. So that certainly would be, you know, very, very much part of the work ethic that I've inherited, and hopefully the majority of my family has.
Well, it is an honor. We appreciate
you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you all. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. Well, we've been talking about this rain. A few raindrops couldn't keep the fun away on this Columbus Day celebration. You can continue to watch all of the festivities and more great stories live right here on ABC-7. And welcome back to our 2025 Columbus Day celebration. A little bit different this year, but still interesting. We're having a lot of fun in the study and celebration of Italian-American history, not just for Columbus Day. We know that. It happens all year round. Joe Piscopo went to check out this cool new spot on Mulberry Street to get an early look at the Italian-American Museum, which is going to open to the public next spring.
Hello, I'm Dr. Joseph Shelser. I'm president and founder of the Italian-American Museum down here on Mulberry Street. We have some great exhibits that are in here now, even more to come.
We're here to really promote and celebrate Italian-American culture.
This museum is simpatico with the Columbus Citizens Foundation. It's their mission to tell the real story about Italian-Americans and to support Italian-Americans, and that's what this museum is all about, sir.
Hey, this is beautiful, the Italian-American Museum. Look at this, in Little Italy. And you always wanted it in Little Italy.
Absolutely. Joe, this is the model of the Andrea Doria. This was like the most beautiful ship in the world.
The Andrea Doria was a floating art gallery that many Italian immigrants came over on, but it tragically did sink 69 years ago.
This is great. This is like epitomizes every working person from Italy that came to America and worked in the garment district. Beautiful. Upstairs, andiamo. So what is this for? Wow.
We have a set of Sicilian marionettes. They're so important because they were the main form of entertainment for the immigrants when they first arrived in America.
That's scary.
He's half dog and half man.
Wow. Hey, Marie, we're behind the scenes, huh?
We are starting to prep to put together our permanent exhibit, which will be on 500 years of Italians in America.
Many of the immigrants played these instruments to entertain themselves.
That was the entertainment in 1900s. I don't think I would ever made it. This is great.
Well, this is a walking stick from World War I.
This was from 9/11.
This is what it's all about, Christopher Columbus.
This will be in the beginning of the exhibition.
That's fabulous, as it should be. Well, that's the Italian-American Museum. It's just the beginning of great things to come. Joe Piscopo live. That was with Dr. Joseph Scelsa at the Italian-American Museum in Little Italy on Mulberry Street. And I want to tell you, this day, if I may, with the cancellation of the parade, I want to thank ABC-7 and to Sandra and Mike and everybody at ABC. I got to tell you something. This means a lot that you said. This was like, when did we plan this? An hour ago?
It was like midnight.
Let's go do a TV show. And we did guerrilla television, man. And it really inspires us because I have to tell you, thinking about my mom and my dad, and I lost my mom a couple years ago, and I know she's watching over. She loved the parade. She loved the parade. I could have won an Academy Award. I said on the radio this morning, I could have cured cancer. No, you're on Joseph's on the parade, and I got to watch. And we love your mom, and to my family watching now, I love you dearly. So thank you. It doesn't go by us, the commitment of ABC-7 to help out the Columbus Citizens Foundation on this Columbus Day.
Well, I'm thinking we got the important stories out that we still wanted to tell. I mean, we'd love to hear the bands and see the marchers and the floats and all the people who make this possible every year coming up, I guess, marching up Fifth Avenue. But being able to get those important stories on and really pay tribute to the importance of the contributions of Italian Americans to the American story, I think that is what mattered.
I mean, there's a theme to it too, right? Where it's the hard work, things don't go exactly planned, and you find a way. And we're in here in this room. It's a beautiful room. We've got the decor and everything.
I'm not moving.
But it's really it's remarkable, so inspiring, and it's from the people who have lived long lives and people who are just starting out, the scholarship winners, and to think about how we're in such great hands with so much out there. We feel like we're in such a polarized world, in the world. We can't talk to one another anymore. You see stories like that from young people who say, you know what? I feel like we can do this together. And that's what's so cool to see on a day like today.
You know what? Through the Italian-American community today, we see how great the United States of America really is. Mike, it really is. We're a great people and a great country. And proud to be here on this Columbus Day 2025.
So we're happy to be here with you.
It's always great to share this day with both of you. And we have to thank all the people from behind the scenes. You talked about the guerrilla-style effort here. All of them behind the camera that you can't see right here, everybody in the truck, and all the people that created this wonderful team to bring you this celebration today on this Columbus Day. And we thank you for watching at home on Channel 7 right here in New York and across the country at abc7ny.com.
Yeah, it is always an honor to be a part of this celebration. It brings so many people together. And can I say, Forza Napoli sempre? If I didn't say that, I couldn't go home.
Whether it rains, sleet, or snow, days like this remind us why traditions like Columbus Day matter so much. Happy Columbus Day.
We're not done though. Wait. I mean, it is Columbus Day here. We don't have the parade, with the up Fifth Avenue, but we have Joe Piscopo, which means we still have New York, New York. Come on, Joe.
Sure.
What do you think?
Sure, hit it. Sure,
hit it, Joe.
You gonna help me, Sandra? I heard you sing it before. Gotta do it.
See, I'm not a professional.
No, you got it. It's a D. It's a D. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
Very nice.
I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. Well done, young lady. These vagabond shoes.
She's going to take the mic.
I'm longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep. Come on, Mike, anytime. To find that I'm number one. Top of that heap. My New Jersey blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If we can make it here, we're gonna make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. Columbus Day 2025.